guys, what's up? It's Unrested with the questions you requested. This is JFAQ, Japan's frequently asked questions. We are jumping right into another Vice video that's been sent to me to view and comment on for a JFAQ. This Vice video was called Japan, the Worst Internship Ever. I may have that title slightly wrong, but I'm paraphrasing. Nonetheless, it's about foreigners from foreign countries, mostly Asian-based countries, that are brought over for internships in Japan, and oftentimes these internships turn out to be low-paid wages that are for jobs that are kind of very hard manual labor, such as oyster shucking and stuff like that. Once again, it's done by the same guy who did the high school girls for sale video, and the motherfucker cannot pronounce a goddamn Japanese word to save his life. Dude, learn a little bit of the language before you're gonna do these documentaries. It starts out by him being like, we are here in Hiroshima. Hiroshima. Oh, fucking hell, man. Just like learn how to pronounce. Okay, you don't have to learn every single word in the goddamn language, but learn how to at least pronounce the place that you are doing the video on. I hate when I see a radio show be like, we are here in Okinawa. Oh my god. You sound like... Anyway, I gotta get off of that. I gotta get on subject. I've got a lot that I don't agree with this video. The high school girl one, there was aspects of it that I did agree with where I felt like, yeah, some of this stuff is wrong. For example, an old man should not be taking a walk with a young high school girl that he's eventually going to have sex with. That's fucked up. But this video, right away, from the second it starts, there's a point I disagree with. He's like, these internships turn out to be very low-paying wages. Well, okay, you need to look up the definition of an internship to begin with. Oftentimes, internships don't pay. I've worked free internships before, so the fact that they're even getting paid, and oftentimes these people are given a place to live, means it's a pretty decent internship. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, the pay is low. Yeah, they're scraping to get by. Welcome to life right out of college, or right out of trade school, or right out of high school. Okay, there was weeks of my life where I lived on $5, so I understand it. It's not fun, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's a good thing that everybody should have to do it, but it is something that happens in your life, that you go through hard times. And oftentimes, if you look at these people who are working these internships, they're young kids from China. Well, let me tell you a little bit something about China, okay? A really fucking bad day in Japan is better than most good days in rural China. Alright, the thing I really hate about this video is he doesn't compare and contrast at all what their life had been like back in China, okay? Yeah, there is situations where there is abuse within these different work programs that they go into. They interview a couple people that they cherry pick and say, yeah, my boss was a real asshole, he threatened to kill me and stuff. You could find the same story in America or any other country for that matter. On top of it, and this is the number one thing that right away it hit me, you know, square in the face, that I was just like, no, fuck this guy. He's like, oftentimes they get paid so low that this could be considered a form of slavery or human trafficking. No. 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 You defined human trafficking in your last video about high school girls as people being sold for sex. None of these people are being sold for sex. None of these people are being drugged up or given heroin or something like you would see in Taken or something like that. There's a very big difference between human trafficking and indentured servitude, which I could see. If you want to say this is indentured servitude, maybe you could get away with saying that, okay? But this is not human trafficking. If these motherfuckers want to go back anytime, they can. No one's going to stop them from going back. Yeah, they may say, oh, my boss is real mean, they won't let me leave. You could bust out of there and get home, okay? You could bust out of there and go to a police station and say, I want to get home. And if your employer showed up to the police station in Japan, the Japanese police aren't going to be like, no, take them back. Or, you know, especially if you're a Chinese person, I'm sorry, it's true. Japan is very racist towards a lot of Chinese people right now, especially with this feud going on between the islands. The police are going to help them get back to their country right away because, honestly, these days they're trying to send Chinese people back to their own country all the time. This video is so poorly researched. This video is so poorly sourced, and the director of this video, I should say the host of this video, has obviously done little to no studies between the current situation between China and Japan, and other Asian countries for that matter too, because not all the people he interviews are Chinese, but yeah. So, my 2 cents, poorly done video. This guy should be ashamed to say that this is proper research done on Japan. You know, I could see where he could have a beef with his first video called High School Girls for Sale. Japan did sign a treaty within the UN that said that they would not allow human trafficking to go on, and sometimes it does go on in the sense of girls selling their body when they're underage, when they're below the age of adulthood in Japan, which is 20. And I do believe that is wrong. Your brain is not fully formed until you are an adult. It's been scientifically proven. Like the upper frontal part of your brain, I don't remember all the different names or parts or anything, but I know for a fact, and you can tell later when you become an adult, you're like, yeah, I made some pretty fucking stupid decisions as a kid. You realize, yeah, now my brain's fully formed, I'm making better decisions in life. I would have never probably done that. When people are making decisions that are bad for their life, that we need to step in and take control to make sure they're not hurt, I understand making a video in support of that and helping that cause. But this video is not helping anything. This video is propaganda for this guy to just kind of point and shake his finger at Japan and say, look at all the bad stuff you're doing. My country's so perfect. I can't compare and contrast anything. My country doesn't do this at all. All right. You know what, like throw your own country in there, take a look at your own. I want you, whenever I make some of these videos that talk bad about Japan, for example, my Dark Side of Japan videos, which I have many of, I always definitely make sure to drag my own country in there and compare and contrast with gun troubles, gun problems that we have, drug problems that we have, violence problems that we have. We need to take a look at the world as a whole. If we're going to look at the bad things in one country, then we need to compare and contrast them to all the other countries around the world. You can't just come to one country and point out all the problems without comparing and contrasting it to the country that the people that are working there are coming from. Okay, let's take a look at how inhumane parts of China are. If you're caught with drugs there, like any amount of drugs, it's a death sentence. It's literally a death sentence. You are lined up to be killed, and a bullet is put into the back of your head, and then your family is charged for the bullet. Nothing like that goes on in Japan. Did you think about comparing and contrasting that with the humanitarian efforts in Japan? Because let me tell you, Japan is a hell of a fucking lot more humanitarian than China will ever be until their government stops screwing over their own people. Anyway. I'm just going to ramble on and on about how this guy absolutely refused to compare and contrast the two countries. How he did the most piss poor job and couldn't even learn how to properly pronounce the area he was doing this video on. I'm disappointed. That's what I'm going to say, and I disagree with this video. It's called Japan, the Worst Internship Ever, I believe is the full title. Check it out if you want to, but believe everything with a grain of salt. I'm unrested with the questions you requested. This is JFAQ, Japan's Frequently Asked Questions. Have a good one.